Today I want to talk about the personal brand of my favorite actress of all time, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I would describe Julia's brand as being bold, unapologetic. One thing that's immediately recognizable about Julia Louis-Dreyfus is her look. She wears her hair big and curly and poofy a lot of times, or at least did back in the 80s. She's pretty diminutive, short-statured for a Hollywood celebrity, but she has maintained a really fantastic sense of style through her whole career, and she has always maintained a real trendiness and freshness to her look. I think one of the most powerful components of her personal brand started way back when she was on Seinfeld, where she was holding her own against some of the most famous or interesting or unique comedians of the time, and they were all male and she was female. She has maintained this sense of being able to go head to head with anybody, either male or female, and that's why I say that she's pioneering, because she has been a voice for what women can do and how funny women can be. One of the things I love about Seinfeld, and I love about her character specifically in Seinfeld, is that she really broke boundaries. She didn't just have to be the typical female lead. She was ridiculous. She was goofy. She was kooky. Like, she pushed the boundaries, didn't just kind of fall back on like sexiness or something like that, right? She explored more dimensionality to a character that I think gave many women in like that followed her the permission to do this. Case in point, Veep is probably my favorite show of hers, and she is hilarious. She jokes that she's like a toddler in a tight dress. One of the things that I think Veep showcased that is very indicative of her personal brand was obviously her willingness to take creative risks, willingness to function in a way that doesn't make her attractive or likable. She's never really seemed like she needed that, right? Like she needed to do lovable characters. She also went through breast cancer while she was on Veep and was quietly dignified about it. And I think that that's one thing that I also really like about her. She has been married to her husband for many years, multiple decades, has 2 children, and really took time, even through her career, to not get caught up in the culture of Hollywood. She remained distant from it. And I think that, and spent time with her family and spent time having a normal life. And I think that that is something that indicates a value system. So a lot of times in personal branding, we talk about how you behave is ultimately kind of a symptom or a signal, right, of what you really believe, and that showcases to people that what you say you believe is something that you really believe because you're acting on it, right? So maintaining that consistency of integrity, I think that many of the decisions that she made throughout her career, putting her family first and putting that normal part of her life first, showed us who she was. Speaking of authenticity, I think that her authenticity on her social media is fantastic. She'll put up all kinds of photos and videos of like this, where she's out hiking, she's sweaty, she has no makeup on, and she clearly is no more self-conscious doing that than she is dressed up in a ball gown at an event. And I think that I love her ability to kind of shapeshift, but clearly to be so comfortable in her own skin that the way that she presents to the world doesn't really matter. She's always going to be who she is. She's always going to speak with confidence. She's always going to present herself as an intelligent contributor to whatever situation she's in. And the trappings of how it looks don't seem to be as important. I also love that she's purpose-driven. One of the ways that you see that is in like her social contributions. She's very involved in politics, things like that. Another is in this podcast that she has. It's called Wiser Than Me, and she interviews older women in their 60s, 70s, 80s who are sharing their wisdom with younger women. And I think that that is a cool continuation of something that has been part of her pioneering for women, right? To remember that people younger than us, people older than us, all have a role to play. And if we're wise enough to listen to them, it will set us up for success. I think she's a fantastic person to admire. I think her personal brand is a fantastic one to learn from when it comes to living authentically and close to your values throughout the course of a lengthy and successful career. And I just think she's the best.